Hello there, I am back, and Body had to step away for a second, but we have someone hiding in the shadows as the DT. It is QwarK. What's up, dude?
What's up? Glad to be here. I'm a huge fan of OyA, and obviously Mihu is Mihu, so I'm really looking forward to these games. It's going to be great.
Yeah, this should be an exciting series. Mihu, Sziky, and Bonyth all tied for first place right now, so a win could put them over the edge and into first place, and that's very important, like I said, in this version of BSL, because if you're in first, you get directly seeded to the grand finals. Second, you're in the semifinals, and third, you're in the quarterfinals, so you want to get as high as possible. So this is a critical win for Mihu, but also the lifeline of OyA relies on this. He's at the very bottom of the barrel. He's 1-4. I would say he has to win here if he has even a shot of making it into the round of 6.
Yeah, I mean, I might go beyond that. I think he might even need a 2-0 here, just because looking at the small points, Bonyth is 10-5, Mihu 9-5, Sziky 9-6. It's so I was thinking about the first place, not OyA's lifeline, but I think whether it's a 2-1 Mihu win or a 2-0 Mihu win actually matters quite a lot here for Mihu too.
Yeah, everything matters at this point for both players. Like you said, OyA, it may not be enough to just 2-1. So if he can get a 2-0, first off, that would be amazing. We saw yesterday Sziky take down Mihu 2-0. You don't just 2-0 Mihu. He almost always at least puts a point on the board. But also OyA needs a win here so that he isn't eliminated from the BSL. We're getting a look at the stats. You can see OyA in season 10 and 11, he was on the up and up, 4th and then 3rd place, then fell down a little bit in season 12 and 13, and then BSL 14. Really not the showing that he really wanted. But here he is back in BSL 16, looking to make his mark, looking to make it into the round of 6. And meanwhile, Mihu needs no introduction. There's a reason he's a 2-time champion in the BSL. And one of the reasons is that one profile statistics you can see near the middle of the screen, versus Protoss, 100% win rate.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't lose to Protoss. It's nuts. It's his STV production is it seems like such a small thing, but you just look at his workout. He's always like even or ahead with Protoss. He just doesn't miss them. It's It's crazy how many units he can build. It's like watching like Uv in his heyday. It's just he runs over you. You beat an army and he's got another one.
Yeah, he definitely is not QiaoGeGe, who does 4 facts also, but cuts econ. He's always building those SCVs. There's a reason people think of him as the Chinese Flash, because he dominates over there in the Chinese scene, and he's dominating BSL also, especially Protoss players. He's incredible, and I think this season he's even stronger than ever, because now he's moved away from the 4 fact. He's playing more modern 2-1. But if you don't think he has the 4 fact up his sleeve, you know he does for sure, and he can pull it out in an instant. So you got to be on top of your game, because he can hit you with the timing, definitely. Our players are ready, so let's get into our first game of the series. It is Sylphid, OyA versus Mihu.
It looks like we have OyA as the Peach Protoss at the 9 o'clock location, and Mihu as the Blue Town at the 4 o'clock.
Yep, we do. Now this is Sylphid here. Is there any build that you like specifically on Sylphid versus Terran?
So I'm not good at it, but Sylphid, you've got those pretty wide open mains where you can just run a shuttle back and forth between the container on the natural and the harass, so you can punish Terran pretty effectively with good Reaver control on here.
Yeah, and Reavers, I think, shut down all timings personally, so I think that would have been really good versus Mihu a couple seasons ago, but now that he's transitioned into 2-1, I still think Reaver is the way to go, but we may... does OyA strike you as a Reaver player? Like, when I think of OyA, I don't necessarily think of Reavers.
Oh, that's because you haven't played in PvP. He's there
okay.
with... he's not quite Bonyth, but, like, it's hard to tell the difference.
You know, that's a interesting statement you make, because there are lately when I see OyA play, like I've mentioned this a few times, if you hide the names, I bet a lot of players, or a lot of viewers I mean, would think there are moments where, hey, this is Bonyth actually playing, but then you show it and it's actually OyA. That's how much OyA has improved in the past few seasons. Right now we do have normal openers. We've got Gate, soon to be Assimilator, I'm pretty sure. Now Mihu, He's approaching 12, and he is going to gas.
Yeah, OyA with the early probe scout, and he's this should be timed well enough that he will be able to at least. Wait, what's going on here? Okay, this is spicy. This is if Mihu scouts him, this is going to mess with him a lot too, because this is every good Terran will obviously always count the pylons. You count the pylons, it's just how you play. Now, I don't think OyA is actually going to do anything off of this anytime soon, but I definitely think Mihu's going to recognize it and get a little confused.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to know something's weird. Like, dude, why is that second pylon missing? Unfortunately for Mihu, if he had scouted first, he would have seen that the assimilator, I think, wasn't completed. But now that he's going to get a second scout, everything is going to look normal and just something's missing. So this is going to throw Mihu for a loop, and that's a big deal. If he builds an eBay, that's a wasted 125 minerals. You have to consider how many turrets he's also going to build. And yeah, this is already a great opener for OyA.
I love it with the free probes and gas too, because this is the map where you go like 3-gate range dragoon, or you do that kind of nonsense. Because it's a flat map, it's difficult for Terrans to defend against mass goons. So OyA here is to an extent telegraphing this is going to be some kind of nonsense, and I don't think it is going to be that. I think it is just pure mind game. He's not actually going to do it.
This is like an oh, okay, the cybernetics is not done yet, so at least Mihu's going to get this, and he's going to realize, like, okay, this is a weird build. He may not realize that it's 3 zealots, but for sure he's going to think it's at least 2. But there are already 2 zealots across the map, and Mihu smartly has not even attempted a bunker. He's got a great wall with the SCV, but like I said, it's 2 zealots. I don't know if he can... Oh, he lifted! He moves out at the wrong time, for sure.
Oh, can we get the prison under the factory? If we get the prison under the factory, then this vulture will instant. Okay, we're not going to go for it.
Well, he does get 2 SCVs. He's going to get into the mineral line, and he is going to knock down 2 of the Marines.
Oh, the probe with the kill! I love to see it.
That was well done. I think that was definitely worth. The vulture is not going to get across the map and really do much damage at all. If any, the goon will just be able to sit at that choke and make sure it doesn't get in.
And he's taken probes off gas now, so it was range and then looking for the Nexus, but there's no way that Mihu can know that.
Yep, and Mihu, what's the transition going to be? He is going to bunker up, he is going to command center, and Nexus is going to be basically at the same time. So far, the only real damage so far is those 2 SCVs. Oh, Vulture gets in, and we know how dangerous that is. So far, only getting 2 kills, so he's going to even up the worker damage.
Oh no! This is already like critical damage. This is so many probes.
This is the dream scenario as Terran. You build 1 vulture and you get in there and you get 5 kills. That is definitely a confidence booster for Terran right now. And now OyA is in trouble because Terran's going to be able to do whatever they want. He's going to go into mines actually, and look at this, 1 or 2 base citadel.
Yeah, instant citadel the moment that he loses those probes, because he as you say, he knows he's in trouble. He knows he needs to do something spicy, because at this point it's the straight up game is not going to go the way he wants it to. And also the fact that the first vulture died, not as many mines on the map means that DT is suddenly much more effective.
Yeah, and that is the big catch right there. Every vulture that you can eliminates those potential minefields running through a DT. It also prevents mines from getting set up at natural or expansion bases to prevent the 3rd from going down, so this is well done. Zealot, he's walking into mines. I'd be curious about this move that the Zealot is moving so far. Okay, and definitely now triggering mines. You know, this is not 1800 MMR. Alarm bells would be going off instantly for me as Terran that I just watched the Zealot move into mines and a goon move into mines, so Mihu may already suspect something's up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he does. He's building the eBay. He was making sure he has mines down. OyA committing to lose a dragoon on the vulture that had no mines. That was, I think, a mistake here. Now he's in a position where he has no real map control. He's his archives isn't going to get him what he wants. He's heading towards the DT drop, but the probe losses early on were just catastrophic.
Yeah, five workers is a huge deal. We do have the turret at the natural. He's going to need to build another turret also near the entrance a little closer to make sure that DTs just flat out don't walk in. But we know that a drop is coming. And so far, I didn't see a turret in the main, also no academy. So there is an opportunity for OyA to get some damage done.
Yeah, he's going to have to, though. I feel like Mihu, with the vision he currently has on the map, he's looking around, he's confirming it's 2 bases versus 2 bases, and mentally he's already like at the point where he's saying, okay, what do I lose to? Because he knows that if he doesn't lose, he's the combination of the worker damage and the 2 base versus 2 base is enough by itself.
Yeah, so as Terran, you're really mostly just worried about Reaver or DT drop, or if neither of those come, you're instantly thinking, okay, this must be Arbiter play. I think the damage was too heavy for it to be a carrier play, but Arbiter play would make sense. We do have the first DT out. Shuttle should be coming out pretty soon. And there's still no movement at all from OyA to take a 3rd base, so definitely Mihu is aware that some type of harassment is coming, and we do have the Shuttle going to load up that 3rd DT and then move out.
Yeah, I love the Vulture placement too, looking for that just early warning on the drop. He's making sure that he has the vision on the drop path, and it's going to pay off immediately.
Yeah, and this is super late. This is a 7:30 drop. In a normal state, Protoss I've seen go for a DT drop as fast as 6 minutes, so this is a 1.5 minutes late. This should deal basically no damage. I like how the Goliaths are already in position, already getting range, I'm sure, on the add-ons. And here we go. He needs to get damage done.
Yeah, I mean, there's only the one turret, but it's not going to matter. He's not even going to allow OyA in.
Yep, mines are being set up. This is one of the differences between Mihu and almost every other Terran in BSL, is he is very diligent with mine placement in his main. DT comes in, somehow that's out of turret range, gets free damage off. He's at least going to get a depot, but still needs more than that.
Yeah, this is... I mean, Mihu's fine with this. He's happy to see that his opponent went DT. He knows the situation is that OyA's only now taking his 3rd base. He can see that he's got a mine there. He'll play the situation all day. He's got no worries.
Yeah, he is. He has no care in the world for this. And that DT... Okay, I was about to say, there's no way that thing is out of vision of that turret. So he does cancel the comm set, which is nice. The Goliaths, they might have range now. You gotta be careful. So he unloads. Scan, not ready just yet. So he does get a couple of vultures, but the shuttle dies. Gonna get that turret.
Seems a little high for Mihu.
Yeah, he may... debating whether he wants to all in this or take a command center and hasn't made a decision yet. Forcing the scan out, the DT does fall.
You think we're just... Oh yeah, we're just holding off on the last DT to die before we actually pull the trigger, because you don't want to get the information for free.
Yeah, I think this might be a 6-fact actually, because there's no starport despite the armory being done for a while, and there is the 5th fact. May see a 6th or even 7th fact now. Meanwhile, 3rd base is almost up for OyA. And we do have Arbiters coming, obviously, but look at his gateway count, almost non-existent.
Yeah, we're not going to have stasis when this happens, and the economic boost from the 3rd base hasn't kicked in. This is these factory ads are just going to turn into a vulture flood, and I don't want to call games too early, but also I look at this and I don't see how you hold this. I just don't.
Yeah, especially with no Reaver. Nothing really to keep the tanks back, and versus someone like Mihu who literally never ever misses a tank cycle. He's just gonna have so many tanks within his initial push, and like you said, the Arbiter 100% isn't gonna have stasis. Maybe it will be out, but definitely not gonna be able to put the blue shields onto the Terran units, and a vulture interception onto the probes. There's no cannon, so he's gonna rack up even more kills.
I don't think there's even a forge at this point, which, I mean, I don't disagree with the decision to have no forge, but yeah, we're not even at the tech where we unlock the cannons yet. OyA is just going all in units because he has to. I mean, OyA knows where he's at. He knows the situation is dire. He knows that it is a game where gateway units is the only thing he can do, but it's not going to be enough. It can't be.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. Maybe the DT can pull off a miracle. Force scans out, buy time, but no, it ends up falling. Another DT coming in, though. If he could get like a mine dragon to the tanks, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that really is... no, okay. I do like the burning of the scans, but I mean, constant energy regenerates much faster than you think it is.
Yeah, it's only 50 energy.
Yeah. He knows that once he gets his Arbiter, he can potentially like play for that. Okay, I like the counterattack here just because it's all he can do is cut off reinforcements. He cannot fight this army, he knows it.
Yeah, this is, like you said, the only move he has, and surprisingly, that goon count is pretty damn high. If he can cut off reinforcements, this tank count is not as high as you're expecting it to be when you're facing somebody like Mihu. It's just at 7. If OyA can get out one more round of Zealots, or 3 DTs is fine too.
He needs to split them up. Okay, he's splitting them. Okay.
No!
Can't lose those DTs. Oh, catastrophe.
That is definitely a catastrophe, and that means that there's really no hope of him busting this contain now. Mines are being set up, and none of them get dragged into the tank line. Zealots are just taking damage for free. The natural has been breached. That Stargate, it's not blinking, so no Arbiter.
Finished. Yeah.
Oh, it is finished. Okay.
Yeah, Arbiter is finished. And it's got that air attack. Tanks don't shoot up.
They do not shoot up. But this, look at the Vulture control, man. He just has the best Vulture control, and all of the Terran players in BSL almost lost none of them.
Are we out of scan? Are we out of scan?
He might actually be out of scan, so he just sacks his Vultures onto the probe line. Smart move. He's going to rack up so many kills. 4 Vultures being reinforced across the map. He can breach that third base, because I don't think there's any cannons there still. Yeah, there's just one. At least OyA held, so he's not dead yet. And the standing army of Terran is not that strong. It's just 2 tanks.
Oh yeah, but I saw a Starport go down. I saw a this is Mihu is not all in on factory tech here. This is he will be getting his upgrades. He will be getting his vessels.
Yeah, he's never all in. He's always thinking about what's the next move economically for me. Is it a third base? Is it a fourth base? And that Arbiter, I think, is 2 shots away from dying. So OyA has to be very, very careful with that thing. He desperately needs to get off a stasis in the next battle to even have a chance at stabilizing this game.
Mihu's not even really committing to this position here. He's hanging out on the side of the map. He's also expanding. He's getting his better upgrades. Mihu doesn't need to win this fight.
No, he doesn't. He's just putting on a lot of pressure, and the observer is going to see the SV transfer. And if you're Protoss and see 3-base Terran versus 3-base Protoss, you're not happy about that. Also, Terran has a 20 supply lead now. This game may just end with this attack. Zealots and Goons trying desperately to push this back, but he's not able to. Maybe just now finally. No, still he's not going to be able to.
Yeah, this tank spacing is nuts. Just the tank formation doesn't end. You kill a tank, and to get on that tank, 3 more tanks are shooting you. You kill the next one, but they're so far back, you just cannot jump on top of them.
Yeah, it looks so easy to do, like, oh, just spread your tanks, as if that's an easy thing. Like, if you play Terran, you know that that's not simple. If it was, you know, players like Terra, Dandy, myself, Gypsy, we would all spread like this, because Mihu trades so effectively every single time. Look at the Vultures on hold position. He's just not letting OyA get an inch in any battle, and now he's going to lay a minefield, or maybe not. He's just going to engage right here. Another Arbiter coming up, but it doesn't have stasis. This is going to be 8 factories for Mihu, so he's really bringing it in terms of production. His +2 should be kicking in pretty soon also, and OyA feels obligated again to just go for a counterattack, but look how tiny it is. This isn't going to do anything.
And Mihu just putting on a masterclass here. You get the early advantage with the Vulture. You rule out the ways you can lose. You build the factories. You crush them.
It's so simple, man. That's why he's got a 100% win rate. It's just so simple. Let me get my notepad out and just write this all down. Somehow these mines in the center of the map with an observer are getting kills also. And we've got Mihu almost up 50 supplies with this contain still set up, with a vessel still here. He could probably EMP it. Oh, the Goons are all going to die to this Vulture. This is going to trigger an attack from Mihu, instant D-Matrix from Mihu. It's going to save the majority of the army, and this is it. I would imagine the GG's got to come out here. There's just so much Terran.
He lost the game to a single Vulture, and I mean, that's not even a rare thing. Playing PvT, like, according to your games, you lose to a single Vulture. That's just how Vultures are.
Yeah, and Vulture openers are super common these days. Like, they've been common for, I would say, about 2 years now. So it is unfortunate that OyA let that in. I mean, he even had the Goon out. It wasn't like it wasn't out. He just slightly had it too far forward, and Mihu, he saw the opening, went for it, and racked up so many kills, and that allowed him to snowball the game and forced OyA into that all-in DT, which didn't work out. So unfortunately for him, he just falls easily to Mihu 0-1, and he needs to bring it together now because, like I said, he's at the bottom of the barrel in the round of 8. He's got to get a win here, but being down 0-1 versus the likely first place finisher, that's going to be a tough battle.
Yeah, I think with the exception of the vulture at the start, I mean, OyA can be pretty happy with how he played. His macros, micro was solid. It was like his choices made a lot of sense. It wasn't a bad game by him. It was just you let in the vulture and you're in trouble. And I think that's something you see with a lot of OyA games is that he's technically very, very strong, and then just sometimes something will happen that just should never happen. It's a lot of his gateway openers, PvZ, you see that he lets Zerglings in. And you're like, well, that's unfortunate. Go next.
Yeah, that's what I'd be thinking as soon as I see 2 lanes in my base, especially if there's Sziky links. Let's just go rematch and hopefully I can fix that small error. So I think if I remember correctly, Butter's going to be the next map. This is, in my opinion, a good map for both sides, despite it being a 2-player map where you get gas stolen often, where you get harassed often. I like any map that you can split as Terran. I think Terran is very strong, and OyA definitely has a shot here, but Mihu, he's invincible, man. I don't know if gas stealing, he even cares about that.
Yeah, if I was forced to beat Mihu, then I would want like a 4-player map where I could go for like the greedy 13 nexus. The 13 nexus on one gateway where you go like road before range, you just don't care. Hope that they never scout you. That's how I would approach it. And Butter, not a 4-player map. It's not a map where you can sneak another main base and build a load of gateways there. You do actually just at some point need to be able to beat a upgraded Terran army on Butter. Or in Mihu's case, you need to build like 4 of them. You can't just beat one. There's another one behind it.
That is true. So our players are ready. It's time for game 2, and of course it is on Butter. Okay, in the top right, our Swedish Protoss. It is OyA.
And in the bottom right, the blue Terran from China, favorite to win maybe even the tournament itself. It is Mihu.
And I like your comment about Vermeer, Circuit Breakers, a big map. I think that also fits OyA's style, because often I see games where he'll show like Arbiter in his main, but he's actually hidden 2 Stargates at like a 3rd base or a 4th base, and there is the fleet beacon. But with it being this particular map, I don't think he's going to be able to really hide the tech as well as one of those big maps. And we do have Probe moving out. This is moving out at a time where he should be able to gas steal and could follow up with either Gate or even Nexus if he wants.
Yeah, I'm certain that he has a plan, but I mean, Mihu knows the counter builds probably better than OyA knows the builds themselves. One thing that you see a lot with foreigners is they tend to freestyle, and it works a lot against other foreigners. But once you're playing somebody the level of Mihu, they will recognize exactly what you're doing, and they will know what the specific counterplay to that is, which is so difficult to play against.
Yep, that is true. Once you reach a certain level, you just got to nail your build, which I've talked about so many times on stream, and that is not a gas steal, QwarK. Somehow, the timing of the probe was slightly too late, and this, it's not a huge deal, but, definitely OyA would like to have gotten that gas steal if he could have, so he's going to try and transition this into some probe harassment. Maybe he can snipe the SCV building the racks. Now Mihu, he's a bit worried because Butter, you get gas stealed so often, he may be thinking like, dude, how did you miss this timing? Did you proxy something? Is that why it was late? It was just slightly too slow. So you can see that's why he was outside of his main looking, but now he's just going straight across the map, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, and once he gets into OyA's base, he's going to know that there is no real green range timing here. This late gas is... I mean, he'll actually have the SV around long enough to see when the green range starts and see that it's not going to be range, so he'll be able to throw down a bunker and just be happy.
Yep, and I like how Mihu built 1 Marine, then repositioned his racks, and now he's not building any more because he knows there's no Zealot coming, especially with that fast scout. Everything's delayed, no bunker either. He is going to go Command Center, of course. I thought for a second that I was reading his gas as OyA.ge's gas and thought he had actually banked up 150 additional gas. So we're going to have an Artosis build 2-fact, but not the case. It is just going to be a normal play, and that was range for OyA.ge. Probe might get the SDV, but it has full health, so it's going to take a while.
I want to see if the probes are staying on the gas. Probes staying on the gas, you will get your Robo. Okay, so this is either not optimized or this is Robo before Nexus, but I think it's just not optimized.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of excess gas for OyA.ge, like you stated, and the Nexus is going to be coming up in just a second. Command Center is basically exactly the same time. We only have 2 Marines, though. Goon beats 2 Marines, so this could be the mistake OyA.ge was looking for. Here we go. He's going to have to back off, and this is... Oh, it's a Vulture. Okay, Vultures, a lot of people don't think they're strong versus Goons, but when they have full shields, Vultures actually do a lot of damage real quick, so this will be held. Good Goon control, softening up the Marines, but he's got to run. It's going to get taken out by the Vulture.
Yeah, this Mihu just blocking.
Oh, no.
Oh, that is beautiful, Maiko. And that is damage that OyA cannot afford to take.
Yeah, a free Goon versus just 2 Marines and a Vulture. And back in the main, that barracks that was blinking, he doesn't even have to complete that Marine if he doesn't want to. He may be just building excess to go for a timing now, but I didn't see it continue to build or to produce Marines, so I guess he is just going to stop at 2 Marines. The Robo is about halfway done. I did notice that it's being built in his main, and 2-gate follow-up for OyA.ge.
Well, one thing about that Goon loss is that was a Goon loss that he invested range in. Now he has no range pressure on the bunker at all because he has to keep his Goons home because he lost track of where the Vultures are. It hurts to get range that early. It really does. You end up in a situation where you have to go. You cut probes for the Nexus. You cut probes again to get the 23 pylon. You spend a lot of time not building probes, and the payoff for that is that you get that pressure on the bunker. If you don't get the pressure on the bunker, you just don't have probes. It really does hurt.
Yeah, forcing a repair does add up, but not getting any damage done really does hinder OyA.ge's build. And we do have Vultures moving across the map. I don't see speed being upgraded, so it's not going to be like an attempted run by, but he is going to get map control with these mines. We do have like a 515 armory, so this is going to be more upgrade Terran from Mihu. But of course, when it is Mihu, you never know really. It could be turned into a 4-fact or a 6-fact 1-1 timing if he does get some damage done with these Vultures. Oh my god, what is that, QwarK?
That is a Stargate that is going to be difficult to scan.
That is going to be very hard to scan. I don't think I would ever really scan that position. In last game, actually it's something that I've noticed with Mihu for a long time as he gets academies quite late. I think it's actually very meta these days for pros and Terran players in general to get academies really late. So this Stargate shouldn't be scanned for quite a while. This may allow him to actually get carriers out.
Mihu, though, he's getting the information he needs from these mines. He's got mines looking for shuttles, he's got mines looking for expansion timings, and if he's seeing that there's no expansion, he's not really in a position where he super cares what OyA's doing. He goes, okay, whatever you're doing it on 2 base. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I wonder what he's thinking. He may be thinking that it's another DT drop. This time he didn't take any damage, so maybe the DT drop is a little bit faster, and I gotta be wary of that. Maybe it's a Reaver opener, which is almost every single game that you play TVP on the ladder. But it's actually going to be Stargate, and that was the academy that I saw just go down right now. But the Fleet Beacon's almost done. The second Stargate's almost done. So he's going to have some god tier scans to actually figure out what this is, because I imagine he's going to miss it.
He knows what it's not, though. These mines, they really should have been cleared. OyA's clearing them now, but you can't tell your opponent that you're going 2 base Protoss in a PvT, because Terran just sits there and says, okay, 2 base upgrades beats whatever it is you're doing.
Now this could be either a 5-fact, it could be the upgrade Terran, like you said. It could, because of how fast you got the armory, it could be transitioned into a quick 2-1 on 7 factories. And with it being Mihu, you can see the 4th fact is already going up.
I would love to kill him. Love to see him kill the Observer right now. It's just killing Observers is such a mean thing to do to Protosses. It's so underrated.
It is for sure, but if he blows that scan, then he has limited scan to scan these carriers. So I don't know what the better decision is. I think it's more critical to see what's going on. We'll see what he decides. The cybernetics is spinning. The tank count is surprisingly low at, what is that, just 4? Definitely not Mihu-esque in my opinion, at least this game. Oh, wow, he's going 6-fact. A lot of times when you face like 2-base Arbiter, a lot of times the answer is just big econ. But he's decided he's willing to risk it, and he's right. He goes into a 6-fact versus carriers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very difficult position for OyA. OyA has all the information. He can see exactly what it is. But I don't know that that's actually going to help him. He's looking into the future, and the future is not great for him.
Yeah, he's got to stall or something, because this supply is about to shoot up really quickly for Mihu. He's got 6 facts almost completed. He's not going into Starport for +2. So this is just going to be +1 with a +1 plating followed up afterwards. And he's just going to pump out so many Goliaths here. Now the tank count, it's hard to balance your tank and vulture count. If he's ever too low on vultures, Zealots can overrun. If he's ever too low on tanks, Goliaths, or not Goliaths, Goons can overrun. So it is critical that he manages both. And you can see he is pumping out more tanks in response to that.
So I liked OyA's immediate Citadel. The moment he saw the factories go down, he placed a Citadel. He started placing gateways. He knows that he's not going to be able to win this with carriers. He needs ground. I would actually quite like to see him cut these next 2 carriers in favor of ground units, because I mean, he's not going to be able to match the Goliaths. He should. I don't know that he should try, but I mean, Mihu's up in supply. It's OyA's got 12 supply investments carriers. I don't see OyA stopping this. It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it is super hard, and also the interceptors, there's only 3 out for both sides. And I do like the idea to cut the other 2 carriers, so it would still just be 2, but you know, I've played the ladder, and there's a lot of games where I scan carriers, so I build 30 Goliaths, and then, oh no, there's only 2 carriers, and I get overrun by ground. So that could be a smart move, but Mihu, he's relentless. He knows his timing. He's attacking right now, mid-transition for OyA, and there's no way OyA can engage it.
Yeah, it's this is just what watching Mihu looks like.
He kills the observer. How are you going to run into this minefield, QwarK? How are you going to actually clear all this?
I mean, Mihu doesn't even need to siege. He's going to siege because he wants to win the game. But he's got factories to just run over Protoss here. There's absolutely nothing that they can do.
There's
2 interceptors of the carrier.
Yeah, there's just not enough interceptors. There's too many. The Goliath count isn't even that high. What is it, 8? But it's more than enough to deal with the amount of interceptors there are. I think this is OyA's time to go. The tanks were unsieged. I don't know what else you could possibly be waiting for. Look at how those Zealots died from that big tank shot.
It's he ran out of time.
Yep.
Mihu pushes quickly. Mihu does not hesitate. His first siege was 3/4 the way across the map. His second siege was that was natural. He does not give you time to think about the game.
Yeah, Mihu's got pro gamer level status of pushing power. He is super fast. He's up there with the likes of Barracks. Barracks, I think, is actually the fastest pusher I've ever seen. He's just unreal with his siege and unsiege. So well done from Mihu there. He easily takes the series 2-0, and unfortunately for you Protoss European fans, I think that ends up eliminating OyA basically. He's, what, 1-5 now? He still has one more series left, so this will just be about saving face at this point. But he did well in BSL. This is probably by far the hardest round of 8 you could ever get in BSL. Like, all the top tier players are still in it. So, you know, it just happens sometimes. Sometimes it's your tournament and sometimes it's not.
What was interesting to me is Mihu pulled the trigger on the factories before the scan.
I know. Like I said, when you scan Arbiter, when you know it's Arbiters, you're not going factories, because Arbiter, like 2-base Arbiter, 8-gate, it's pretty good versus 6-fact. You want big econ. That's why it was so surprising that he ended up going for it, but I guess he's just so good with his vulture control, tank control. He just doesn't care. He just knows he's going to win the fight anyways. Well, that is the end of our series. We're going to be going into a break, and then we'll be back with another matchup, so don't go anywhere, guys.